Many classrooms use the talking stick as a tool in regulating and helping students come to know respect and each their turn in speaking. If you don't know where that story has originated, Jessica Summers and I have put that together in a book for you. Jessica is an Ojibwe Métis from Ontario, and the book is now available. This gathering was much the same as all others. Next to a gentle turn in the river, four-leggeds, flyers, crawlers, and swimmers gathered to discuss important events on Turtle Island. They gathered this way several times a year, or they had to. Nothing ever got done. As soon as the gathering began, a cacophony rose from the land, the air, the water. All spoke at the same time, and they were loud. They all believed they had important contributions to make. On this particular day, Beaver, who was known for her wisdom and politeness, was ready. She sat at the foot of a large dead willow that she had almost chewed clean through. The tree was standing, but only by a thread. When everyone had gathered and voices began making themselves heard, the willow came crashing down, landing partly on the riverbank and partly in the river. In shock, everyone stared. Beaver quickly climbed onto the tree trunk and spoke to the gathering. Friends, I'm sorry if I frightened you. I merely wanted to get your attention. After our last gathering, like so many others, nothing was accomplished. I've given serious thought as to what our problem might be and just how it might be resolved. Identifying the problem wasn't difficult. There's no order in our gatherings. We all speak out of turn, and we speak over one another in such a way that no one can be heard. And that's the problem. Now, the solution? I have my own thoughts on that, but in the spirit of collaboration and teamwork, I'd like to hear your thoughts on who you think should speak first and in what order. Beaver then picked up and began gnawing on a branch that had broken off of the fallen tree. The participants looked around at one another. They weren't surprised by Beaver's request because she often solved problems that others couldn't. Without hesitation, Eagle launched herself from her place high on Grandfather Cedar. She was soon gliding through Father Sky, looking down at the gathering. She circled once or twice before landing back on her perch, and then she spoke. It would be simple for us to determine who should speak first and in what order if we could agree that the honor should be given to she who is closest to the Creator. No one can achieve the heights I can. More than any other, I have Creator's ear. We all know that. I should begin. And after me, the honor would be determined by its proximity to the Creator. When it comes to four-leggeds and others, well, of course, speakers would go in the order of their height. A piercing crack sounded from the tree line. All heads turned toward Bear, who was standing on two legs, cradling a huge branch that he had just snapped in two. Would it not make sense for us to devise some way of identifying the strongest among us to determine the order of our speaking? As one, everyone began groaning. This obviously didn't work. Deer broke away from the gathering and began sprinting up and down the riverbed. Speed, she cried. Speed is something easily measured. Let's race, and the order of speakers can be determined by the order in which we finish. The gathering was focused on Deer. Beaver, too, was listening, even though she continued gnawing at the branch that she had picked up earlier. Salmon shot out of the river. Were we swimmers not here before all others? Does this not make sense? Does this not make us the elders? I would never discount your gifts, Eagle, Bear, Deer, but I humbly suggest that the order in which we speak should start with us, elders, the water dwellers. The order of speakers would then shift to the land, followed, of course, by the skies. Well, this futile exercise went on and on. Wolf spoke of her love of family, of the pack. She would oversee and speak for all, including the weak. For Wolf, nothing as important as the family. Beaver nodded in agreement as she continued working on her branch. Next, Turtle reminded the gathering of her place in creation, her link to the 13 grandmothers, and her proximity to Mother Earth. Moose's position lay with his power and his uniqueness of his rutting. Equally as important, Moose spoke of his close relationship with the land, with Mother Earth. Cougar highlighted the importance of balance, power, and speed, and, of course, patience. Cougar's a cat. Would patience not be needed to solve the problem of everyone speaking out of turn? And just when it was becoming clear that consensus was not going to be achieved, Beaver, holding a stick that she had carved from the branch, climbed back onto the large stump. By then, everyone was exhausted and open to some form of resolution. Friends, Beaver said, is there really a need to be stronger or faster, or to fly higher or swim deeper than others? Of course there's not. Is there a need to be the best? Again, no, there's not. We all have our gifts. Creator's given every one of us something special, something that we should be proud of. No. In this, we must seek simplicity. We must look to the humility of Wolf, just as Raven is always honest. We must be honest with ourselves, and we must seek the courage of Bear. But more than anything else, we must build on the respect that we see in Buffalo. Let us choose a simple token of respect. Something as easily accessible as, say, a stone. Or Beaver then held up the stick that she had been gnawing on, which was artfully crafted, depicting a few of those gathered there. It might even be something as simple as a humble stick. Might we all agree that it would be your turn to speak when and only when you're in possession of that object, say like this stick? And might we agree that when one is in possession of the stick, all others will listen? There was no argument. Beaver's proposal was wise and simple. And with that, the talking stick came to be.